Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. First of all, we just reached a milestone of 7,500 subscribers and it's just been a little over a year, maybe even closer to a year and a half. So thank you all for your support on this channel. And today we're actually back at Sherman Bowling Center to measure my positive axis point, or to remeasure it, which is also known in the bowling world as the PAP. We have 2 more regular season stops left in Rochester in a couple of weeks, and then the Tour Championship. So we've got 3 events left, and I really need to make sure that the new balls that I'm about to drill for those 3 stops match up to my game the best, so that I can increase my chances of striking in the last 3 events. So stick around and find out how we measure my PAP so that you can do it at home.
5th frame to go up by 12. Has it. Really good look.
Talk about a nice ball roll. Watch this. And she get it out of her hand nice. 2019 PWBA Rookie of the Year. Slaps that 10 out nicely.
9th frame to go back in front. Responds. Flirting with disaster again.
All right. First things first, we need to pick a ball to get the PAP on. And the best thing to do when you're checking your PAP is actually to use a very low differential or a no differential bowling ball, which is, for me, it's my Hammer Axe, which I don't actually know if it has any flare potential, but it's minimal if it does. I don't have a plastic ball with me. And I also have my Hammer Effect Tour here, and it's shiny and it's dark, because that's also helpful. If it's dark, you can see the oil lines. So I'm gonna warm up, throw a couple of shots, and then what we have to do is draw lines on your flare lines, and then throw a couple more shots, put some tape on it, and I'll walk you through all of that. So I need some tape in this ball. My thumb is quite small right now. So the goal is just to throw a normal release, because your positive axis point is your DNA of your game. It's your release, your ball roll. Everybody's PAP is unique and it's different. So also, so you want it to be normal, just like a normal shot, kind of in the oil, because you got to make sure that you get the first oil line, I'm pretty sure, that you want to trace, and then trace it over. The reason you want to use a low flare ball is because Mo Pinnell said at one point that high differential bowling balls could flare in the air, and that messes with your first line of track. That one for sure got in the oil, and I can see my track on that ball pretty well right now. I just took a look at it, and I'm gonna clean this one off. See if I can throw it a little bit better. A little bit more normal. I've done a lot of changes. To my release in the past couple years. So I gotta remeasure it. It might be pretty similar. But it might not, because some of my ball reactions have not been the best in terms of carry, especially on the kind of easier or even like shorter patterns that we bowled on. So I need different layouts, I think. We'll see. Pretty sure. So we just want to make sure that we're measuring the angles properly. Oh gosh, that was bad. I think I'm too far right for this really short house pattern. I think what's out there is like their senior summer shot. Not a lot of oil. Well, now that I've warmed up and thrown a few shots, I'm going to wipe this clean so that there are no oil lines. I'm going to throw one more shot as best as I can, just normal. And then we'll take it back and draw the lines. Hallelujah. All right, so you can see the oil line on the ball. And you're gonna start the first line of flare, which for me is this one, way over here. And you're gonna trace it all the way around the bowling ball, and it kind of goes, it goes over here. It starts to like angle and then cross over here and kind of loses its oil. And so I don't actually know there. Is it this one? Looks about right. Over here. And then it should cross again. Up over here. There we go. So, oops, sorry. Art is not my favorite subject. Wow, it's like it kind of went away once I spun it around, so. All right, there it is. All right, there are two ways to find out where your PAP is. You can either line it up with like the ball cup and have the circle kind of go around, but the more technical way is to actually have an armadillo gadget, and it's this thing. So what we're gonna do is put it on the ball and then line it up with these lines here, kind of move it around and see which one it actually lines up to. And it looks like mine's curving quite a bit more. Aha, there we go. That one's pretty close. Nope, that one's too angular. Okay, there we go. I got it, that's the line. That's actually really pretty, really close. So what I'm gonna do is take my pencil again and I just spun the ball 980 degrees. I turned it around. So my flare now is over here, and what I'm gonna do is draw a line from this side to this point, and this side to this point, and that is the PAP. We're supposed to be. So I'll take the armadillo off, see what my line looks like, and then I'm gonna put a piece of tape right on this dot here. All right, so now we're gonna put a piece of tape on that spot that I got to, the PAP, the predicted PAP, and then I'm gonna go throw it and see how accurate it is. All right, now that we have the predicted PAP, I'm gonna throw a shot. And the important part about it being in this spot is that it stays stable at the front part of the lane going through the oil, and then it can unravel. That's the most important part. So take a look and see what it does. My footing is not very good. I'm like sticking and sliding. So, but what I did see, it wasn't a great shot. The trajectory was terrible, but it didn't move at all. It was pretty stable. So that means that we got it on that ball. So what we can do is also do it on quickly on the axe. What I'm gonna do just so that I can get another oil line. It's actually, the oil line's right there, but I'll just get the oil line on this one, and then we'll do it on this one. All right, straight up the oil. So it should be accurate. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the axe. We'll get it and see what the difference is. I feel like it's gonna be different because this track is so much closer to my fingers and thumb on the axe, but we'll see. Okay, did the same process on the axe. Got the tape in the PAP spot. Let's see how accurate this one is. Ooh, that was like, I don't think that wobbled at all. I wonder, I'll throw it one more time just to be sure, but the first time we did this, we didn't, months ago, years ago even, we didn't have an armadillo. So we were trying to figure out where it was, and it took us a lot of shots to try to get it to not wobble. That's super accurate. That's not tumbling at all. Let's measure it. That's the next step. All right, now that the PAP is accurate on this axe, we're going to take the prosect and measure it. And so how we do that is we draw the center line through the center of the ball, or the grip, sorry, and John already scribes, and so it should be fairly accurate. And then we're going to find the line, or draw a line from the center of the grip to the PAP, and or like over in that direction, because then we have to figure out a way to measure how far over it is from the center of your grip and how far up. In my case, it's up. So what John needs to do then is take the center of that line and draw it over to the center of the PAP right there, and kind of draw like X marks the spot. All right, so now that we have the distances, or the lines drawn, we have to measure how far over it is and how far up. So for a left-hander or a right-hander, it's over, but for us, it's to the right. And so it's 5 inches, or 5.5 inches over to the right. And then for me, it's up. Some people do have down PAPs. I don't know anything about that, but mine's 3/4 inches up. So it's 5.5 inches over and 3/4 up. And so the purpose of doing this, and the point and the accuracy of it, is so that when we go to drill another ball like this, then if it's just a blank ball, John will, my ball driller, will take my PAP and get all the angles and make sure that it makes sense for the layout and what we want the ball to do. And so I'm actually going to go back and have John back measure from this new PAP what some of my layouts are. And we'll start with this one. Do you want to do that now? Okay. We'll start with this one, see what the layout is with the 5.5 over and 3/4 up. And then I'll have a little bit more of an accurate idea for what these balls do, because I know what they do on the lanes, and what I want the new ball reaction on a few of the balls to strike more. So let's do this one. We're actually going to measure this one in the exact same way to see if on a reactive ball, low diff, if it's going to be, how close it's going to be, or exactly the same. And he did actually mark the center grip with the scribe, so that makes it a lot easier for him to do this. So over, all the way, and then X marks the spot. Oh, yeah. So if you keep the lines on there from before, then it's a little bit more of an accurate, even if you place the tape differently. So 5 1/4 and like half. Where's that at? 5/8. 5/8 up. That's pretty close, right? So to the point that Mo had made a long time ago, that balls that have flare in the air, this could be changing the PAP based on the flare that it has. So we're going to use the more accurate representation of my PAP in the axe to then measure the layout of this ball using my new PAP. So now we're going to find out the layout of this ball using my new PAP, which is not this. It's the 5.5 over, 3/4 inches up. So how to find out the back angle layouts. I'm going to draw a line through the pin and the CG. So with my new PAP, currently this layout would be 70 degrees is the first angle by 4.5 over pin to PAP distance. by 40-degree back angle. That's it. I mean, that's pretty close because I think originally it was like 65 by 4 3/4 by 35. So not too terribly off. There is some ball drillers that literally like it's 5 degrees really won't make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things, but it's more of like the general layout. So we'll take this information, drill a couple bowling balls that are going to be slightly different and maybe even dramatically different just to see how they roll, and then we'll follow up with you guys. All right, now that we have found my new PAP and we reverse engineered the layout to find out what it was with my new PAP, I hope this was helpful for you in finding your own PAP, understanding layouts a little bit better. So, because your PAP is the DNA of your bowling game. So it's really important to know these things and dial in some layouts. I really hope that if you're finding that you're not striking or your balls aren't doing what you want them to do, then it's important to go back to your ball driller and have these conversations and figure out if you can dial in some layouts on different types of bowling balls to help you strike more, because that's my goal going into the last part of the tour season. We've got 2 more stops in the tour championship. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and leave us a comment. Let us know what you know about PAP, if you've done this before, or if this was helpful for you. So we'll see you next week.